I promise this is not a clickbait, and I did spend £2,199 to actually test this monitor. What am I doing? I'm not even Linus Tech Tips. Hey guys, I think I'm officially mad. However, before I explain everything, let's talk about productivity. There are two ways of increasing productivity at home. For everyone that types a lot, it's probably getting a really good keyboard that suits their typing skills and preference. For everyone else, it's pretty much just increasing the screen estate for all your windows. And on my desktop computer I work with a 32-inch screen monitor, which is 4K, which provides me with a plenty of estate for all my tasks, whether it's a research, typing, etc. But not so much for my laptop, and this is where the portable monitors come in handy. But do I really need a monitor that has a 144 Hz refresh rate? Well, let's start with what I actually have in here. This is Arzopa 15.6-inch portable gaming monitor. It's branded gaming because of the refresh rate. It's just a portable monitor, a slick one and very thin and light. Part of that gaming design is the reason why they have this really nice carbon fiber laminate going over, but overall the monitor looks solid. It's feather light and has a very thin bezels, apart from the bottom, which is like, I guess, 20mm to hide all the electronics in it. To connect to that you have pretty generous I/O. There are 3 inputs, 2 USB Type-C that double as a video input and power, and also mini HDMI. Frankly speaking, for the monitors this kind, I prefer smaller versions of HDMIs, because if you're actually using the big original HDMI in their full size, the cable is quite stiff and tends to drag the monitor around, something that I particularly like to avoid. On the other side we have a power button which doubles as a selection for on-screen display, and the rocker that allows you to select different options and configure your screen to your preference. There is also a 3.5mm audio jack if you want to connect headphones, in case you don't want to use the built-in speakers. I mean, the speakers are serviceable, nothing amazing but nothing bad either. Out-of-box experience left me scratching my head. Do I really need all that space just to fit the cables and the charger? I mean, I would appreciate if they redesign the box slightly, make it smaller, because it doesn't have to be this big. I definitely don't need that charger. I have plenty of chargers going on, and it's only used if you are using HDMI to power the screen on. I'm sure you would be okay without it. And my second criticism actually applies to all of the portable monitors that I've reviewed in the past. They all come with no way to actually mount them in any place. And I know what you're thinking, well, they are portable, why would you want to mount them? Well, on the rare occasion when I'm actually taking this with me and, you know, working with dual display somewhere out there in the wild, most of the time this monitor is just on the shelf waiting to be used. If it has like a VESA mount, I could just pop it on a stand and have it on my spare monitor on the desk, but there is no such thing, and none of them actually have VESA mount that I could use, and that's slightly disappointing. I did experiment a little bit in the past, and I put a 1/4-inch adapter screw with the 3M tapes on one of the backs of all the monitors. However, it tends to rotate a little bit, so it's not perfect. I need something proper. So before we get to the testing impressions from that screen, I think I owe you an explanation behind that £2,199 bill. Reviewing this monitor was the final nail in my coffin to actually convince me and make a decision to buy a new laptop. It's been 7 years since I've got the old one, and this time around I decided to treat myself a little bit just so I could tackle reviews like that, because I only have a single USB Type-C port to actually connect the display, and that's on my stationary computer, and it's currently occupied by something else. So I ended up purchasing Zephyrus Duo from Asus, which has enough processing power to tackle video editing despite the gaming looks. It came with a massive price tag and a 165 Hz display that I can actually take this portable display and pitch against. Actually, that got me thinking how many displays I could actually connect to this thing. Now I've got all the screen estate in the world. Alright, let's stop messing about and give it a test. And a side note here, that refresh rate can be scaled down all the way to 60 Hz if that's your preference. And anyway, this panel is a 1080p panel. It's an ISP panel with quite good viewing angles and a brightness of 300 nits. It might not be enough to get it on the table in a sunny weather. You would struggle to see that, as probably you would with any other laptops, but for any other environment would be just fine. Well, since they advertise that as a gaming laptop, I guess let's open up some games. And the game I decided to test it on is Spider-Man Remastered for PC. Why? Because I've played it and enjoyed it on PlayStation, and I actually fancied playing it in a high frame rates. Thanks to my laptop, I can actually pull up to 165 frames, which coincidentally is matching my refresh rate on the computer itself, so that's great. I know this is not going to show up very well on the video itself, so you'll have to trust my opinion on this. Now, playing the game in a high refresh rate, yes, you can definitely tell the difference. I know a lot of people is going to be like, but 60 frames per second is already good. Yes, it is, but trust me, going higher is even better. Especially for the game like Spider-Man, which relies on a lot of motion. It's a perfect example of the game that you would enjoy that high refresh rate. Now, since my computer can handle all those refresh rates, I could actually run the game in anywhere from 120 frames to 165 frames on external monitor and on my built-in monitor into my laptop. But to be fair, before I got to enjoy the game, I had to tweak the color profile on the portable display a little bit because it was so wildly different to what I've got on my laptop. So I've opened the on-screen display, and after tweaking values a little bit, I got very close to what my Asus presents me by default, which is nice. Now, after playing for a game for like 20 minutes or an hour maybe, I discovered that honestly I couldn't tell the difference between 144 Hz and 165 Hz display on my Asus laptop. Now, I know that part of it was due to the fact that my laptop wasn't really pushing 165 frames constant, but honestly, I had a great time regardless of the monitor I was using. You probably wonder now, how much money do you have to spend to get a display like that? And you are in luck. This display isn't terribly expensive. On Amazon you can find it for $159.99, and I'm gonna include the link in the description. So if you're going for a portable display and you have a selection of what features you should choose, unless you need a 4K monitor for a specific reason, I would strongly recommend you for this form factor to pick a higher refresh rate. You're gonna enjoy it more. I know for a fact that this is not going to make my workflow any faster, but trust me on this. Moving your cursor from a 165 Hz display into a 60 Hz display, that looks awful. But now I have a solution. If I want to have a more screen estate, I'll just plug Arzopa gaming monitor, and yeah, that difference, it's almost not noticeable, so well done. Big thanks to Arzopa for sending me this fair review. So if you're interested, in the description of this video you're gonna find everything you need and link to an article if you want to read some more and watch some nice pictures. As for now, thanks so much for watching. I do not have a posting schedule, so if you want to know what's coming up next, you know how YouTube works, there's no point of me explaining you that. A couple of social media links down there below if you want to engage in conversation. And all I have to say is big thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.